for me, it's pruning time. Now through spring, I get to do all kinds of pruning. And so I got, I've been meaning to get for my, I've got those electric pruners, these Zenport electric pruners. Well, they have, it's this little handheld pruner-like thing, right? So this thing, tag that you put over your back, right? And you have these pruners that that are electric, right? And so I used these last year, and I was really happy with it. And I wished that I had the ability to reach up higher with it. And so they, and this was the newer model. They have a Zenport SC number 2 and a Zenport SC number 3, and they made an attachment that extended this thing for the SC2, but not the SC3. Well, they now make it for a bar that works for both the SC2 and 3, and that's what I picked up here. We have a box within a box. No, okay. Right. So this goes on one end. And this goes on the other end. Okay. There are no instructions. But this is plastic here. But it does feel pretty durable. Okay, so I've got this thing figured out. So this pole, so this is the the trimmer, right? Obviously, I took this thing off. This thing is going to now plug into the back of this thing, okay? And then that just carries on to the battery. It's got these little grooves that you can see right here. See those little grooves there? So you got to get those grooves. You got to get your grooves on, lined up with there's grooves on here. Okay. All right, and then it's just a matter of sticking the pieces together. So let me do that. Well, it is the day after Thanksgiving here, and it is 60 degrees out here.
Is that hot?
Yeah, that's pretty warm. Are you warm?
A cold and hot and warm. That's why I'm cold and hot and warm.
I see. Well, Sally seems like she's plenty warm. She's been running around and she's panting. So anyway, I'm going to do some work on this tree. This is an apricot tree, and I'm going to use the this Zenport pole pruner now.
Dad?
kill the little blossoms that are going to be coming. Well, let's see if we can just sort of zoom right in on up here. I want to get, I think that thing right there off. Shoots that are just going straight up. Not all of them, but there's too many of them. You want to play?
Yeah.
Well, on this tree, it's got all this stuff that's going straight up the middle here. And you know, this tree was just way overgrown a few years ago. This is going to be the third year of pruning, and well, that's the last sort of bit of the wild growth that I need to take out. So this year I'm primarily just going to focus on getting rid of all this vertical stuff, and so it's some pretty big cuts that I need to do to get that stuff off of there. It's basically all that. And the reason that I want to do that is because, you know, these tree limbs, they grow out and then they break, and you know, it's sort of hard to prune them. So I just want to bring everything back, you know, down here where I can reach everything pretty reasonably. Looks like that truck of yours plays music.
Yeah.
Yep.
You press a button.
Uh-huh. All right, now just gonna cut right there. That's the last bit of it. have decided to do one more branch. Well, it's kind of hard for it to see with all the other branches in the background. So this branch right here, well, that is it for the big cuts. I'm just going to go in, and it's got a few complicated areas that I'm going to thin out a little bit. Well, it was a pretty good day out there for trimming, and I got a lot more done than I normally would have by using this thing. So overall, I like it. It's made out of a good sturdy aluminum. Putting it together was a little bit of a challenge. I had to, this tough plastic stuff right here had to come off, and you use a little Allen wrench that it comes with in order to get it off. That way the aluminum pole can sit in there. And then I couldn't get the plastic stuff back together quite right. And so I used, it was a little tight, so I used this little clamp here and just sort of squoze it in a little bit, and then I could get the screws in. But it performed really well out there. I was pleased, actually. It from trigger to tip here, it's like 76 inches. So you get an extra 6 feet out of it. So that's good. So I was, reaching up, 11, 12 foot tall, getting some of those branches up there, and it's one after the other, and it gives a nice clean cut, of course, because they are bypass pruners, and so there's two. They make a few different designs of this little thing here. They make one that is this one is basically the same tool. The only difference is that this one runs off of a 6-hour battery, and this one runs off of a 4-hour battery. And you can't hook the 6-hour battery up to this pole, only the 4-hour battery. That's because it has a different end on it here. Okay. And it comes with some little tools to keep the tips sharpened, keep the edges sharpened. So I was pretty pleased with it. And so the only drawback is, well, one of the drawbacks, I don't know how many drawbacks there are for it. It's expensive. That's an expensive tool. If you've got 1 or 2 trees, it's probably not worth your time. But if you have an orchard, it's worth your time.